The next showcase speaker is Laurie King Taylor. She is a noted executive advisor, thought leader, and keynote speaker on cognitive leadership, the concept of reconfiguring the brain's pathways and connections for optimal leadership. Through her speaking and consulting work, Laurie demonstrates how to bridge leadership and science by learning to rewire your mindset to harness your emotions, channeling the power you already possess to make positive changes to your career and relationships. As a speaker, Laurie examines how to change our thought processes and habits through deliberative exercises, can actually rewire our brains for the optimal characteristics of leadership. I give you Laurie King Taylor.
Thank you so much, Ed. So today, let's embark on a journey together, a captivating exploration into the very essence of what makes us human, our capacity for connection. So as we navigate this terrain, we're going to dive into emotional intelligence and brain science, where a fascinating interplay defines the strength of those bonds. And we're going to discover the transformative power that lies in understanding ourselves and the profound impact that our connections can have on others. Now, have you ever wondered why some connections click, why others seem kind of elusive? Well, spoiler alert, it's not random. Our brains pull some serious behind-the-scenes magic, coordinating our emotions and our thoughts that in turn shape our interactions. So today, we're going to begin to uncover how nurturing emotional intelligence becomes the cornerstone of those meaningful relationships. And we'll discover the transformative power that lies in understanding not only ourselves, but also the impact that our connections can have on other people. Now, I work with a lot of managers and leaders, and one of the things that I hear is, I would love my job if it weren't for the people. Relationships can be hard. I can't tell you how many organizations have asked me to come in and help them to deal with difficult people. And yes, there are a lot of difficult people in the world. But we need to take a step back and ask ourselves why and what role do we play in that difficult situation? So let's start with the brain. When information enters your brain, it enters at the base of your skull and it travels through the brain. Well, the rational part of your brain is way here. So if information enters the brain at the base of your skull and begins to travel, the first place that information goes is to your limbic system. Now, your limbic system is the emotional part of your brain. So all information entering your brain stops and is processed through your emotions first. Now, living in that emotional part of your brain is your amygdala, and I fondly refer to her as Amy. Amy's job is your survival. Amy processes everything in a fight or flight mentality. So when information enters your brain, it goes to the limbic system, that emotional part of your brain, and Amy collects that information and she says, what do I do with the information that I've received? So the first thing she does is Amy looks back at the hippocampus, which where your long-term memories are stored, and she asks the hippocampus, what do we know about this situation? And the hippocampus is going to say to Amy, in this situation, we always is the key word. We react to situations based on the environment that we grew up in, how we were trained to react in situations, and our personalities. Now, we talk a lot about diversity in the workplace, but one of the things that we fail to really talk about is the diversity of personality. We're all created very differently. So let me give you an example of a situation I learned about 20 years ago. Now, I'm a big personality. I'm what they call a dominant extroverted personality. And I have my youngest son is opposite personality of myself. He's very quiet and very introverted. So about 20 years ago, when I'm learning how to connect better with my son and learning that communication, this is what I discovered. That when I was in a difficult situation with my son and I felt excited or challenged in a situation, what would happen to my personality style is my hippocampus would tell Amy, we're going to get big and loud. So when I'm trying to have an interaction with him, maybe he's put his hand on the stove or he's done something he wasn't supposed to do, my body first will start to grow. So those personalities who are more extroverted and dominant, you'll find them putting their hands on their hips. You'll find their shoulders going back. They'll grow as big as they can. And then the next thing is they get loud. Now, I'm a loud personality to start with, but when excited, I can get even louder. What I began to notice is that with my son, he would pull back and he would say, Mommy, why are you yelling at me? Well, I didn't think I was yelling at all. But what he was doing was building a wall. He felt that I was the difficult person in that situation because to him, I was getting big and dominant and loud, almost kind of like a scary monster. So think about in our workplaces where the very personality and the things that we don't understand cause those difficulties in those relationships and build those walls. So I had to understand, I had to look in and develop a self-awareness of how I reacted in situations. The second thing I need to do is understand my son and what his reaction to situations. He would get quiet and he would pull in. Here's where we learn to rewire our brains. Pattern interruption is a beautiful thing where when we understand how we react to situations and how it's received by others, we can begin to change our reaction. The only person you can change is yourself. And let's begin there. So I would love to talk to your organization and teach them how to enjoy more powerful connections through the use of emotional intelligence and pattern interruption so that we can rewire our brains and increase our influence. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. Appreciate that.